إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
So, have you guys ever heard the term weekend warrior? Anybody heard that term before, weekend warrior? What does that mean? So not always partying, it's something else usually. Anybody know? You guys ever heard that term? You know, brother?
Yeah. No, I was going to say similar to him, like just a guy's like a party animal, like on the, like a warrior on the weekend, right?
Well, usually, maybe I'm dating myself. Maybe I'm too old. I don't know the current definition, but when I was growing up, the weekend warrior was the guy that he maybe he played ball when he was like in college or something like that, and so he was big on basketball or football or something like that. And then he gets older, and then he goes to work, and he spends all week, in a cubicle, sitting down, eating donuts, and sitting by the water cooler. And then when the weekend comes, what does he do? He wants to go out and he wants to relive the glory days. He wants to go back out and he wants to, go and play like he was 20 years old. Okay, 20 years old and 50 pounds lighter. So what happens to him? He gets injured. Okay, so he shows up to work on Monday. Okay, in a cast or in a sling and injured, and so that's the weekend warrior. So the reason that he isn't able to continue at the same level, okay, at the same level of performance is because he's not practicing, okay? This is something which is intermittent for him, all right? And so we have something, sadly, in Islam, we have the Ramadan warriors, okay? We have lots of Ramadan warriors every single year. So this is the person who never fasted the entire year, okay? And then Ramadan comes, and then they have to start fasting, and he's not used to fasting more than one day, okay? And now he has to fast 29 or 30 days. So what happens to him? Gets hurt, right? Gets sick. So I used to work in a Muslim country before as a doctor, and so I tell you, in the first week of Ramadan, the number of patients, it doesn't quadruple, it's more than that. It's like 5-6 times the number of patients, okay? Everybody's coming in and they're sick, because they're not used to it, they're not used to the fast. And so one of the most important things that we need to understand is, and it's a little bit late for this year, but it's something I hope inshallah that you will remember for the remainder of the year, is that in order for us to succeed in Ramadan, we want our bodies to be ready for it. So it's not just about the fasting. It's also about being able to handle the night prayers, okay? So one of the things that's interesting is that, again, when we don't get to enjoy these things, right? Because our bodies are so not used to it, that we're struggling through it, that we lose the opportunity to get the benefit out of Ramadan. So what is the purpose of fasting? So Allah Azza wa Jalla, He tells us in the Quran, an ayah which I'm sure you guys now heard it 100 times already. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So it is, O you who believe, fasting has been commanded upon you. Okay? Like it was commanded on those before you. What do you guys think? Who was supposed to fast before us? What do you guys think? Anybody? You know? You have to speak out.
What do you mean, like before?
Before us, before the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his ummah.
Christians, I guess?
Okay, so people of the book, right? So all of the prophets that Allah Azza wa Jalla He sent, they all fast. And this is an important tool for da'wah. When you guys are talking to people who are not Muslim, okay, and they're talking to you about fasting, you tell them that what we're doing is the same thing that the people that you read in your book in the Bible that they used to do. Because the fasting that they did, that's found in the Bible, is the same fasting that we were doing. Exactly like what we're doing. And so Allah tells us that this is not something new. This is not something new for you. This is something that has been carried on for all of history. All the prophets that came with this. And in fact, we have a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he said that كل عمل ابن آدم لا إلا الصيام فإنه لي وأنا أجزئ به. So he said, all of the deeds of the son of Adam are for him except for fasting. Fasting is for me. And I will reward it in a way that I don't reward anything else. So one of the understandings when people say, okay, so does that mean that Allah benefits from our fasting? What do you guys think? Does Allah get something out of it? What do you think?
No.
Okay, why?
Because he's higher than all of you.
Yeah, he's higher than that. Remember that there's nothing that Allah needs from us. Anything that we do, any deed that we do, any prayer, any Quran we read, any fasting we do, anything at all, this is something that benefits us, doesn't benefit Allah in any way. And we have a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, it's actually hadith Qudsi, where Allah speaks, where he said that if all of humanity and all of the jinn, everybody who's ever lived, they all get together, and they're all as good as the best human being, they're all like the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Everybody's like him. It doesn't benefit Allah in any way. And if they're all like shaitan, it doesn't harm Allah in any way. So then we come back. Why did Allah say that fasting is for him? What does that mean? So is fasting a hidden deed, or is it something that, like, if you guys are fasting, will I know? I know, right? So if you have some M&Ms in your pocket and you go to the bathroom and you're eating them, nobody will know, right? So this is why it's something sincere for Allah. Only this is something between you and Allah alone. Nobody knows that you're fasting except Allah Azza wa Jalla. But when you pray, if I don't see you in the masjid, I'm going to say, hey, I don't see you praying. What's going on? And you might say, okay, I'm going to pray now just because you don't want the peer pressure. You don't want someone to ask you why you're not praying. So you pray. Is that prayer for Allah if you do it like that? No. Right? We're praying then for the sake of the people. We're not saying praying for the sake of Allah. But fasting, nobody knows that you're doing it. You can tell everybody that you're fasting. But you might not be. You might be, again, hiding something. Drinking when nobody sees you, eating when nobody sees you. So it is only for Allah. So that is the understanding of it. That this action is unlike every other action. Because sometimes people, they pray in order to get something out of this world. How is that? Somebody, he comes to the masjid and he prays. But he doesn't want the hereafter. He doesn't want Jannah. He wants something from here. How is that? Can anybody tell me how that works?
He wants to be seen in a high regard from his peers.
I'm sorry, what?
He wants to be seen in a high regard by his
Okay.
peers.
He might be wanting to be seen. He wants status. Okay, that's one thing. What else?
Want materialistic things where he's like, God, please give me this and give me that.
Okay. Even in that case, at least he's asking Allah. So we say, inshallah, hopefully he's on the right path. Maybe he needs to focus on the akhirah a little bit, but inshallah, hopefully his salah is good. But some people, they're not thinking at all about Allah, but they're here praying, but they're not thinking about His prayer.
In some unfortunate cases, there's a fear of retribution.
Yes. From who?
From some oppressor, whether it's the government.
Okay, it could be that way. It could be that, again, for a social reason, okay? So not necessarily from the government, it could be the social standing of his family. He doesn't want to shame his family. His family is a religious if he's not seen in the masjid praying, people will say, oh, the family is going bad. And he doesn't want to, shame them. Or maybe the parents are saying, don't shame us, go to the masjid, okay? So this person is not praying for the sake of Allah. It could also be sometimes somebody here in the masjid, it could be somebody who's a businessman, so the man comes here and he prays hoping that this man will give him a job, give him a loan, give him a gift. So in some places where some of the leadership is very, very rich, they might see somebody, oh, everybody who's praying to them, I'm going to give you $100. So some people, they come just for that.
He's praying for his own benefit, not praying to worship. وَمَا خَلَقْتَ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ.
Exactly. Right. So this is, some people, they do that. So the praying, they can do it for other than Allah. Read the Quran. Some people, a lot of people, not some people, a lot of people. As the Prophet ﷺ, he said that at the end of time, that a person will read Quran, but the words will not go below his throat. What do you guys think that means? Yes, tell me.
Like it wouldn't benefit him, or like it wouldn't like reach his heart. Or
It wouldn't reach his heart. Ahsan, very good, mashallah. What's your name?
Kamal.
Kamal, mashallah, Kamal Malik. Very good, I'm very proud of you, mashallah, excellent. So that's it. The idea between reciting the Quran is the Quran is supposed to descend into your heart, it's supposed to change your heart. It's supposed to make you a different person. Okay, so when the person is reciting and it doesn't go below here, what's happening? You just want someone to say, wow, what a beautiful recitation. Hey man, let's go make a CD for you. Let's go put you on YouTube. You'll have a lot of followers. Okay? And this is happening in a lot of places around the world today. Some young man, okay, he grows up and he has a beautiful voice. So if he has a beautiful voice, usually, number one thing he wants to do with it is what? Use it how? Huh? Make music, right? He wants to be the next boy band, okay? He wants to be, making songs, right? And being featured. So what if that doesn't work? His songs are not very good and nobody wants to listen to him. There's always the Quran. That's shitty. So unfortunately, they'll go and they read Quran because they'll get attention over that. And people will tell them, come and recite in this gathering, I will pay you, come and do this, I will pay you, and so forth. So unfortunately, a lot of the best reciters that we have in the world today are being paid. And so it makes it very hard to do something for the sake of Allah when you're getting that kind of money, right? So we talk about fasting, we talk about reading the Quran, sadaqah. Can a person give sadaqah and not be concerned about Allah? Absolutely, right? He's trying to do what? Impress other people. Look how rich he is, look how righteous he is. MashaAllah, every time there's a gathering, this brother, he comes and he gives $200, $1,000, $5,000, and so he wants that status. He wants that fame in the community, and people say nice things about him. So all of these acts we're talking about right now, okay, even Hajj. And how many people make Hajj in this room? Anybody make Hajj? May Allah Azza wa Jalla, inshallah, cause you to be among the Hajjaj next year. Allahumma ameen. Make the intention and wallahi you'll be surprised. The first time I made Hajj, I was invited in a group, and so I didn't have to pay anything, subhanAllah. So ask Allah Azza wa Jalla and with Nidai you'll be among the people next year. So I will teach you something that you will learn later, that Hajj is a very unique act of worship. It's the only act of worship that we have in which we verbalize an intention. Okay? So we don't verbalize the intention for salah. When we make salah, we don't say, Nawaitu salat al-isha al-raqat, and we don't do that. Okay? You do it in your heart, but you don't verbalize it. You don't say it. It's not from the sunnah to do that. The Prophet ﷺ never verbalized, except in Hajj. He said, Labbaik Allahumma hajjan la riya'a fi. Oh Allah, I respond to your call with a pilgrimage in which there is no showing off. That's interesting, right? How is someone going to show off in Hajj?
Social media.
I'm sorry?
Social media.
Social media, mashallah, good, very good. When I used to live there, I used to live in Jeddah, and so it was always, me and my family, we used to kind of snicker when we would laugh at some people that you're going around and you're trying to focus on Allah, and there's a guy, he's like, brother, get me like this, give me, like, is the Kaaba behind me? Yeah, is it good? Let me see. What is this? We're making dua to Allah, we're making dua for social media. But this is the reality.